tonight is, can illegalities in the coal sector be ironed out without hurting growth prospects? To discuss that, we are joined by Narendra Taneja, energy expert and BJP leader. PC Parak, former coal secretary, is also with us, and so is Harry Dhol, DG, Independent Power Producers Association of India. Sandeep Agarwal, who is chairman, Power Infrastructure, PhD, Chamber of Commerce, has also joined us, and so has Jyoti Mukul, Oil and Energy Editor, Business Standard. I welcome you all to Newsnight. Mr. Parak, my first question is to you. You have spoken out in the past against the processes of the screening committee, which the Supreme Court yesterday termed non-transparent. Is there a way in which a balance can be struck so that illegalities in the coal sector can be ironed out and at the same time growth prospects are not hurt?
Are you asking that question to me?
Yes, Mr. Parak.
Well, I think the court has based its judgment on two issues. One is that the Government of India did not have any power to make allocations of captive coal blocks under either MMDR Act or Coal Mine Nationalization Act. It also took a view that screening committee did not go through the transparent system, and therefore on these counts all coal blocks have been treated as illegal. Now, I had, when I took over as secretary in 2004, realized that government does not have powers to make allocation, and therefore I had suggested that we must amend the Coal Mine Nationalization Act to empower the union government to make allocation, and make allocation on the basis of open bidding. Now, had that system been approved by the government and implemented, perhaps we would have not landed in the kind of problem in which we are today. And therefore, Supreme Court is right in saying it that all these coal block allocations are illegal. But now the problem is whether all these blocks can be deallocated, or some of them can be deallocated, or what should be the way forward. Now, a large amount of investment has been made on account of these blocks in the mining as well as in the downstream projects, and if all these blocks are deallocated, we can have serious implications for country's economy.
So what should be done in your estimation?
Supreme Court is aware. I think Supreme Court is aware of these issues and therefore has kept this option of deallocation open till 1st of September, when it will hear the case again. My solution to this problem is that as I suggested in 2004, we must give all allocations through open bidding. I am of the view that even now, all these blocks can be put for open bidding, and those who are now holding these blocks can be given the right of first refusal. CAG or some agency can be asked to quantify as to what is the investment made in these blocks.
Okay.
And in case they are not the biggest bidders, they can be compensated for this amount, and whoever makes the biggest bid, he can be given the block. That, to my mind, will be a transparent system, and it will not dislocate the entire coal and power and steel sector.
Mr. Dhol, a number of sectors, including the power sector, and understandably so, are worried about what really would be the final decision of the Supreme Court. What does the power sector now expect from the Apex Court and from the government?
I think the power sector expects uniformity, continuity, and some stability for infrastructural sectors as a whole. The Government of India we expect them to assert themselves if, as Mr. Parak says, the Coal Nationalization Act does not allow for government to allocate coal blocks.
For center.
The center to allocate the coal blocks. Then my question to him is, does it allow bidding, or does it talk about giving it out through a bidding process? And therefore, I think the issue now
The Supreme Court has said that the centre does not have the power to allocate, and we
so
know
who
that
has the power?
Competitive bidding policy has now been approved by the centre, which the
No, but that the old act doesn't allow that. No, then the old act has to be amended. So therefore, we are saying that the government,
amendments need
the
to be
amendment
carried
of the act is the first step that needs to be taken. Number one. Number two, I think the Supreme Court is sensitive enough to realize that power is such a sensitive and important subject for our economy that they will not do something to derail the existing things as they are. Perhaps punish, as my friend Narendra Taneja says, from time to time, those who are guilty of illegalities, but let the rest continue. Number one. Number two, if you want private sector to come into this this particular...
According to the Supreme Court, all 218 coal blocks allocation are illegal. So if you're saying that, you know, take action against those which are illegal and exempt the rest.
Fair point. Then let the Supreme Court come out with the solution how the power plants are going to run, how they're going to switch off the country. I mean, the point is, they have a difficult choice. They have to take a very balanced
No,
view.
but what is it that the power sector wants?
The power
That's
sector
main
wants
question.
coal. Before the Supreme Court judgment, the power sector wanted coal. We've got thousands of megawatts of stranded capacity. We are importing huge quantums of coal. We want coal. If Coal India is not able to deliver the goods, let's find a mechanism that will deliver the goods for us. Let the power sector get coal at a reasonable price, and let the consumer not have to end up paying huge amounts of premium just because everything is going to go into a competitive bid mode. Because you find the moment you get into bidding, then it's not necessary that you are going to get a lower price. You can take a classic example recently, just yesterday, of the Supreme Court passing the Tata Adani matter, where they went to competitive bidding, they come back saying, give us a price increase, and the Supreme Court has temporarily said, no relief.
Okay. So, Mr. Agarwal, then is competitive bidding the best way out? The Supreme Court said yesterday it is not for it to say whether, you know, the route forward should be, the way forward should be competitive bidding or not, but that's what it was when it came to the 2G licenses. According to you, what should be the way forward? How can a middle ground be found in power sector?
Let me ask you a question, a counter question. The point is, will it be the same for everybody? Will NTPC and the government producers will also have to buy coal?
We will need to wait and watch. I mean, if the Supreme Court really decides to distinguish between government entities and private companies.
Then when the big daddies of the industry is the government, they are the major power producers. And when the major power producers are getting coal blocks allocation, which are exempt from the Supreme Court rulings, etc. So the cost of power to them will be lower. So therefore, all independent power producers will go to the DOMS. They have to
Is that the
shut
case
down.
really, Jyoti?
They have to shut down.
I mean, the Supreme Court hasn't made that distinction so far between government entities and private power companies.
See, in case of coal blocks which were given out through the government dispensation routes to the state government and state government entities, that also has been held illegal by the Supreme Court, saying that the states do not have the right to mine, and the right to mine rests with only the central government. So what we are given to understand from yesterday's decision that even state government entities are going to be in problem, because especially in those cases where state government departments have given out those blocks to private companies for commercial mining. Because it appears from yesterday's order quite clear that as far as commercial mining is concerned, whether it is being done by state government entities or by private companies, that wouldn't be allowed. So it's not that only private companies may face the axe, it's also the government companies which are likely to face problems, especially state government entities. So in that sense, but the only difference here is that in case of state government departments, there are no end-use projects. Those blocks have been taken and given for commercial mining where coal is being supplied to other projects. So in that sense, there is no end-use project which will directly probably get impacted. But of course, coal supply from those blocks could be in problem.
So in your estimation, what can be possibly a middle ground that we've found? Because the fact is that the industry needs coal. Power sector, cement sector, steel sector, they all need coal, and 50% of our coal requirement is being met through imports. That was the statistic last year. So possibly, how can industry get access to coal, in sufficient access to coal, that is, and yet illegalities be ironed out?
See, as far as the order is concerned, it's quite sweeping in what it says that all allocation done since 1993 are illegal. So in that sense, whatever has been done or achieved or not achieved in the coal sector mining, coal mining sector, has been kind of undone by this order. So what it basically means that it impacts one and all, but I do not think, and so do many people, that there will be a complete deallocation. That is not what Supreme Court is likely to do on September 1. Instead, they may go for some kind of a committee, like they had Shah Commission for mining. And then
The Supreme Court has suggested that a committee of
yeah,
retired
so
Supreme Court
it
judges
is
could well look
cases
into it on
where
case-to-case basis.
misrepresentation of facts have been found out by CBI, and also in cases where the mines have been sold to private companies for commercial mining, that the real impact would be seen. I do not anticipate that in projects where coal mining is already operational, where the projects are operational, where there is no misrepresentation of facts, blocks which are clear of such dubious means, there an action, I don't think it's going to
So,
be there.
all of you are
Because
saying the
after all,
distinction
it
should
cannot
be
be
made.
so unreasonable as to stop the entire coal production from captive blocks. That looks little unlikely at the moment.
Okay. Now, as an energy expert, Mr. Taneja, a lot of investment has been made, around 2,86,000 crore, and more than that for exploration, mining and use projects. That is 3% of the GDP already. Not just that, lot of bank credit, over 1 lakh crore, is riding on these coal blocks, only in the past sector, if we say. What do you think can possibly, as an economist, be a way out of this problem?
Well, first of all, I think I would like to wait, for instance, what Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court saying all blocks, the way they've been allocated.
That's a fact, but that a
Illegal. No,
distinction
illegal.
we made,
No.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but
We made in
then-
terms of maybe extent of production,
Exactly.
exploitation.
Exactly. Now we have to see, basically wait for details, and details probably would be available on the first, in terms of, you see which direction, for instance, if the Supreme Court ultimately says, all right, all the legitimate investors, legitimate players, they're not going to be punished. You see, and those who are actually not legitimate or legitimate enough, they are going to be punished, or they would impose some kind of penalty on them. Because I'm sure the Supreme Court is also aware, for instance, if you just scrap everything in one go, it would have very serious consequences for the economy. I'm sure the Supreme Court is sensitive to it. But given the picture, as far as when you look at the scenario today, what is more important for the government and for the nation is that we have clarity and finality on the whole issue, so that the government can basically plan now the future accordingly. So this is what is probably more important. But as I said, what is most important is that, you know, the legitimate investors and players, that their interests are well protected, because if we are not able to do that, you see, then I think we'd be sending out a very wrong signal to both domestic and international investors, particularly domestic investors who have invested serious amount of money into these projects. And besides, of course, we would have consequences in terms of power generation, power availability, and steel production, and so on and so forth. But at this stage, honestly, I want to wait what happens on September 1.
No, obviously, we all are waiting
and then
for that.
basically think, because right now, if you go through the judgment which I have, you get strong hints there and more or less clear picture.
The deallocation may
Deallocation
not
is
happen.
stronger, yeah. But we don't know. There is an interpretation, for instance, I heard a prominent lawyer yesterday saying on one of the TV channels, saying that actually what Supreme Court is saying, cancel all the blocks. So that was the interpretation of very, very, very well-known lawyer.
We have to wait for the final word of the
So I
Supreme
want to
Court.
wait. But I'm pretty confident as an Indian, you see, that the Supreme Court would be very sensitive to this, that we are basically, you know, forced into a situation where these investment and legitimate investors plus India's image as an investment destination is challenged.
Okay, those are some couple of important points that you have made. Mr. Parak, does the coal sector as a whole need reforms? Should the mismanagement of the coal economy really end? Is there a need to denationalize the coal sector, and can that help, besides having a allocation process which is transparent and based on competitive bidding maybe?
Yes, let me clarify. Number one, the Mines and Mineral Development Act has already been amended to permit open bidding of all future coal blocks, and Ministry of Coal has already decided that all coal blocks in future will be put through open bidding. And since this law is now available, even the existing blocks can, if the Supreme Court decides, can be put through the open bidding route. Now, second thing, we have been having serious problem of demand and supply mismatch for last several years. When I was Secretary